He told us to tell you, the television viewers of America, that there are certain TV shows you are not to watch, so you better not. The shows are...
Sex in a Condo.
Wet T-shirt Party.
Let's spit on the flag.
And there's another one. I can't remember the name, but it's live.
It's from New York.
It's Saturday night.
Yes, hello. This is Not Ready for Season 6, where we discuss the much maligned 6th season of Saturday Night Live. We want to know if it had promise, if it's as rough as some people have said, and just explore some of the nuances that make this an interesting transitional season of Saturday Night Live. Joining me is my tag team partner, my co-host on Pop Culture 5, Jeremy Dove. What's up, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. It's always fun talking little SNL history with you. And as always, I'm excited to give our breakdown of Season 6 and give what I feel is the 411, the truth of how Season 6 really went. And I feel like so far we've been pretty fair and honest in our assessment of these episodes and of the cast and writers and stuff. So I'm excited. This is a big one.
Yeah, I agree. And before we get going, I do want to mention that Barry Blaustein passed away a week ago as we're recording this. It'll have been maybe a month by the time the episode comes out. So he passed away on May 12th. He was 71 years old. He was a writer on season 6 of SNL, worked very closely with Eddie Murphy, Jeremy. He was a director after his SNL stint. He was a writer and director, had his thumbprints and fingerprints on some really important works of comedy, Jeremy.
Yeah, for those who know, he was one of only 5 holdovers after season 6 to come back for season 7, including cast and writers. Him, David Sheffield, Pam Norris, those were the writers, and then Eddie Murphy and Joe Piscopo. So obviously they saw something in Barry Blaustein and what him, Eddie Murphy, and David Sheffield wrote together. You can really look at as a core of saving Saturday Night Live. So
sure. I
don't think people understand in what he did in movies, but also how important he is in saving Saturday Night Live in the history of the show.
Yeah, and he had his thumbprints on some great SNL sketches. He worked with Eddie on the Celebrity Hot Tub, James Brown sketch, on the Velvet Jones sketches, Stevie Wonder stuff. So he had a really big impact on SNL. He helped write Coming to America.
Yeah,
one of my all-time favorite comedies.
Classic.
Boomerang, The Nutty Professor. He directed Beyond the Mat. We're both big wrestling fans, and Blaustein directed that. So just a really important behind-the-scenes figure in entertainment.
And I think that's awesome that he meets Eddie in SNL and stays with him for over a decade plus after that. So you can tell, like, he's a big, important figure in Eddie Murphy's comedy career, too. Yeah. So just definitely rest in peace, and he's one of those hidden legends of the show that people, I don't think, really understand how important he was to Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, exactly. So our condolences to his family, his wife, Deborah, and his kids. Rest in peace, Barry Blaustein. So this week, it's episode 3 of season 6, which aired on December 13th, 1980. Your host, Jamie Lee Curtis, musical guests Ellen Shipley, and the Godfather of Soul himself, James Brown. So Jamie Lee Curtis had recently turned 22 years old. She was a well-known scream queen, having become famous for playing Laurie Strode in Halloween. She was in a John Carpenter horror movie in 1980 called The Fog. Jamie Lee Curtis, I was excited when I saw her name pop up as host.
Yeah, I was excited because obviously well-known superstar, legendary actress, but at this point in her career, because it's, after Halloween, but before, like, Trading Places and, Fish Called Wanda and all that stuff. So interesting point in Jamie Lee Curtis's career to be hosting. So I was excited to see what she brought, because the Jamie Lee Curtis who I've come to know, definitely a heck of a dramatic actress, but Does really well in the comedy too. I think of like even certain movies like from Trading Places to she's funny in True Lies, which came out in the '90s, to even on New Girl when she played Zoe Deschanel,
Yes.
the main character Jess, her mother. Very funny. So I was interested to see how she brings it tonight.
Yeah, very, very curious. A young Jamie Lee Curtis in this episode. And as far as musical guests, they're going big game hunting again, Jeremy. So last week we got 2 performances by Aretha Franklin. This week we're getting James Brown, sir.
You can't get any bigger in my opinion. Like this is huge. And like you said, they have back-to-back weeks. I'm kind of surprised like why have other guests with Aretha Franklin and James Brown. Like
I feel bad for Ellen Shipley tonight.
Yeah, and I would be curious to ask, like, was it a money thing? Was it a time filler? Was it experimental? Because if you got Aretha Franklin last week and you got James Brown, like, it's like mic drop, enough said. Just let them cook. So I'm like, was NBC being cheap or something like that? Just like, why are you adding guests to 2 of the all-time great legends, like in Aretha and now James Brown?
Yeah, for sure. So we're fresh off what I consider a good episode, the Ellen Burstyn episode.
I agree.
So we washed a little bit of the taste out of our mouths out of possibly the worst episode in SNL history the week before.
Yeah.
Got a good episode last week. So I think, my spirits are pretty high coming into this one.
Mine are too. I think you're right. Last week was a good, solid one, and it was a great bounce back because episode 2 was abysmal. So I was eager for this. I was eager to see what Jamie Lee Curtis would do in this spot. I was eager to see the evolution of Eddie Murphy and of seeing Eddie more and more and stuff. So I was definitely curious about this episode and optimistic, I would say.
Yeah, definitely optimistic. Shall we get to it?
Let's do it.
All right. So our cold open, we have Denny Dillon, Gail Matthias, and Charles Rocket. They're part of the Mean Majority, which is a group of conservative voters who are here to tell you how things are going to be since Reagan will be taking office.
We're the folks who listened to the preachers on television who told us to vote conservative. We did, and we won. So listen up, losers.
So, who are we?
We're the mean majority. We're very, very mean.
Who are we mean to? Just about everybody.
They start off with a bit of social, political commentary, very Mason Williams, kind of still the Mason Williams kind of vibe here. So what'd you think of the Mean Majority here as a cold open?
I did not like it. I thought it was the streak continues. Well, the cold open was great for the first episode with Elliot Gould, but then I feel like they've kind of gone downhill, and I feel like the streak continues with it of not good cold opens where the jokes aren't landing. I could see what they were trying to do with this one, but it came across like just mean, not like funny. And I think they're missing the point of like a lot of times with that kind of humor, you got to have the egg on your face. But when you just seem like you're punching down, and that's what I felt when I watched the cold open. They were just punching down.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the intent, but that's what I got from it.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the writing or acting, but I imagine the intent was to paint the people in the Mean Majority as the, mean folks, or the, have some commentary on how they're in the wrong somehow. But it just didn't land. I think it was too short. Honestly, like it just became muddied very quickly. I think the transition from that to the Live from New York was very
terrible.
abrupt. It was, wasn't it weird? It was like
I didn't like it at all. It was so bad. I'm like, what? I'm like, who thought of this? And I'm kind of like, you had 5 years of Live from New York to understand. You got to bring that with energy.
Yeah.
Unless there's like a tragic thing we've seen years later, but like it was like Live from New, and everyone's just bouncing back, and I'm like, this is whack. Like they just did not bring it at all with this one.
Agreed. I think the only thing that I kind of laughed at was when they were saying these are the TV shows that you can't watch, and one of them was called Let's Spit on the Flag. I thought that was kind of like funny. Like I can see some of the commentary there, but overall, just they're not hitting the marks really with these cold opens, man.
No, they're doing bad, and this is one where if you're a comedy nerd like us, you're still not going to like it, but you can kind of see it. But for the casual fan, I can't knock them for like being hard on this kind of sketch, even back in 1980, because it's not landing, and you shouldn't have to really have to over-explain what the humor is in a sketch, but you do with them.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So we move on to the monologue, which another very short monologue.
I gotta tell you, one thing I've always seemed to notice is that audiences expect certain things from certain performers. They always want Steve Martin to say, I'm a wild and crazy guy, right? And you can never hear Springsteen sing without hearing Born to Run, right?
This seems to be, I guess maybe the last couple, kind of seems to be a theme here. I counted from when Jamie Lee starts talking to when Jamie's finished, 1 minute 5 seconds.
So, it was quick, yeah.
Very quick. And she looks 40 years old. She's 22. But
she's 22?
Yeah, she's 22 in this.
Wow.
But yeah, she's born in 1958. She had just turned 22 in 1980. Did people look older because of their hair? That's kind of what I think, because she looked like 40.
I was thinking like 30, like in her 30s. I kind of thought and it's funny because I should do the math. I knew like in Halloween she was really young, and that came out 2 years earlier. But I don't know, watching that cold open, she looked like a grown woman.
Right.
Not like a 22-year-old young lady. So I'm glad you said that, because I would have lost a lot of money. I would have said, she's 30 to 35 at this time. Exactly. But no, 22, okay. But
yeah, what do you think of these short monologues?
I like it. I don't like it overall as my overall fandom of SNL, but I like it for what they're doing here. And if you put yourself in 1980, you're the first new cast to replace, the originals. You don't have someone you feel confident in yet to kind of go out there with the host and banter for the monologue. The viewing public is still getting used to the cast, so you're kind of figuring things out. So I understand, all right, let's introduce this star host, let him do something really quick, and let's kind of get on to the show, because you're in a weird spot right now.
Yeah, right. And I don't mind short monologues. I don't mind long monologues if they just kind of do the job, which to me is, let's introduce the host, let's endear the host to the crowd. Let's try to make the host look as good as possible. So 1 minute 5 here, I think it worked. I think Jamie, she says, you go to a Bruce Springsteen concert, he's going to play Born to Run. You see me on SNL, I'm going to scream. So she does that. She's very excited. I think if they were able to accomplish the goal in a 1 minute 5 of just making Jamie endearing, I think she was endearing to me. So I think it didn't overstay its welcome. It did its job. I didn't mind it.
She was funny. I liked it. I thought she nailed it. I liked her Rodney Dangerfield impression of he's going to get, I get no respect. And then that is what she's known for. So she gave a scream, and we were on to it. And I liked it. I thought she brought great energy, but also was able to, like you said, endear herself to everyone by playing at hey, I think she was already kind of getting that title of being in all the horror movies and stuff anyway. So let's just play it up, which is what SNL is about, really. So I really enjoyed this monologue by her.
Yeah, definitely. I love that they're making the host look good, and they're being very economical.
Yeah.
So thumbs up. Keep doing what you're doing with the monologues. So we go to the first sketch of the night, which is Cloven Hind Jeans. It's a parody of the Brooke Shields Calvin Klein ads from 1980. I know about this sketch. I didn't know it was from this episode.
Ouch. Do you want to know what comes between me and my clovens? My brains.
Cloven Hind Jeans.
But I knew that Gail had done this, and I had Jeremy. I had a whole bunch of notes written about it being confusing and how they might have missed the mark because they had an opportunity to do X, Y, and Z. But then we'll spoil it. It's fine. It's a runner. It's a 3-part runner. So I had to delete all the notes that I had and look at it in the context of the first of a 3-part runner. So what did you think of Gail as Brooke Shields doing this Calvin Klein parody?
It's strange because I don't know if I felt this in the other episodes as much or at all, where it was the first time I was like, man, I'm a history nerd, so I know about the Brooke Shields, Calvin Klein ads. So to me, I get it. But I'm like, if you're watching this now and you're of a younger generation, I could see you being lost in it.
Yeah.
So it was the first time where I'm like, am I being fair because I know what these ads, these commercials are, but like, are they still hitting the mark? I still enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I do think if you're younger watching this and you don't know Brooke Shields or don't know that she did those commercials, you would be lost at least with the first part. But knowing it, I still enjoyed it. I thought Gail did a very good job with it. It was very funny.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for the most part. I was wondering if it was, and I know it's comedy and you can't, but I was wondering if it was a little mean to Brooke Shields. I don't know. Did she have like an airhead reputation in 1980?
I don't know. She had, I mean, she was already had been photographed so much from like a toddler on there.
Yeah.
So she was like superstar. Those commercials kind of did do that. Like they were like weird. Have you seen those,
nice.
right?
They were not nice. Well, yeah, like the real ones. Yeah, they're on YouTube. So we did my due diligence. I went back and watched the real ones while I was watching this episode. I hit pause and then watched like the real Calvin Klein. And she does come across like they did a good job of actually parodying the exact ads.
Exactly.
Like the whistling at the beginning, that was kind of weird. But I was just wondering, like, man, they're really kind of taking a shot at Brooke Shields. I don't know if
I liked it because from someone who loves classic TV and watching different things from like 1980, like Brooke Shields I watched Facts of Life or Different Strokes episodes, and they're mentioning Brooke Shields. And so, like, you just kind of know she was, like, the it girl at the time. And those commercials, I think they are artistic for that time.
Yeah.
But they're kind of weird.
They're a little goofy and weird, yeah.
Of, like, I'm like, I think you're trying to show that they're, like, casual wear and you can chill. But it's just, like, Brooke Shields is like this glamorous. She's not the average girl next door. I'm trying to compliment her, but she's just not. And then I'm also like, she was never doing something casual. It was always something awkward. So I guess it's like a play. It makes you think, but I liked it because those commercials are like, they're good, but they're weird, like the real ones. So I kind of thought this was a good thing that Gail did, where it's good, but it's like odd. It's like, are we really going with this for an ad? Like, and people are really buying this? Like, I thought it was good.
I think it was a good parody. And initially, like I said, I thought they had squandered an opportunity because there was more than just one Calvin Klein commercial, and the one that they parodied in this first segment wasn't the weirdest. But then it's a runner, so I'm like, okay, I gotta take all that back.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that. But I did like this. Great job, Gail Matthias. I really enjoy what she's been doing on the show so far. So sketch number 2, we got the attack of the terrible snapping creatures. It's Gail Matthias playing a woman who is home alone and is a bit on edge because she's sensing something evil about her apartment. She has a roommate played by Jamie, and who I think it's a reprisal of her Halloween character because they mention her name's Lori in the sketch. So I'm like, okay, she might be like reprising her Halloween character.
You've got one on you.
One what?
One of them.
It's a clothespin. It won't come off. It won't come off!
I heard you the first time! Get it off me! Oh!
So it turns out that these little creatures that she's sensing are clothespins. So they're being attacked by clothespins. So I kind of like it. It was very dumb, but this actually worked for me because it leaned into being dumb, I think. And I think Gail and Jamie really committed to it, and I think that's why it worked. The commitment is what made it work for me, Darren.
Yeah, I think you're right. It started off like slow for me, but I give it, I mean, we're going on out of 4 stars. I'll give it 2.5 because of what you said and the ending, that visual being Jamie covered in like clothespins, like made me laugh. So like I think you're right. It just kind of was too slow and not hitting in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I do think you're right, if they had maybe a joke or two early on, it would have really been like out of the park good, because they did just kind of embrace the stupidity of, no offense to fans of the horror genre, and I love Halloween the movie, but like they embraced the stupidity of like some horror movie tropes sometimes.
Yeah.
So I thought it was pretty good, but
Yeah.
it just a little bit slow in the beginning, but it did get good at the end.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was funny that they were able to hear the suspenseful music.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she acknowledged it, so you can tell like they're not taking it super seriously in the writing and the construct of the sketch. But then Gail and Jamie are taking it very seriously in their acting. They're just kind of dialing it up, which I think is what you need to do here. I like the reveal of the clothespin on Jamie's nipple.
Yes,
when
yes.
she turned around.
Oh,
that was really funny. I just think it worked, and Gail pulls out the queen, which was like the big clothespin. So I don't know, like it won me over, because I agree it started off a little slow, and I'm like, okay, where's this going to go? But there was escalation, and it won me over.
It won me over, and Gail with what is coming out on fire, like really, like winning me over. Like, I'm very impressed with Gail so far in this episode, but what we've seen from her. And I kind of like that Jamie Lee Curtis is kind of like getting to the mix right away here. I feel like some of the other hosts, they're kind of like, you see them for the monologue and then you kind of forget about them and they'll appear in a sketch. I feel like, okay, they're using Jamie Lee tonight and she's going to be in the mix. So I enjoy that.
Yeah, definitely. And a good start to the episode. I think we're carrying over from like a solid Ellen Burstyn episode. I think this is a good start.
Yeah, I agree.
And I say that, then we have the next sketch. Which didn't win me over. Actually, I take that back. This did, because they had two different kind of like card themed sketches. So I got my card themed sketches mixed up. This card themed sketch actually did mostly kind of work for me.
With Paulie Herman?
Yeah, just because of who starred in the sketch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Eddie Murphy as a 3-card Monte dealer, and Joe Piscopo's bringing back his Paulie Herman character.
I'm making money, man. You want to make some money, Jack?
Oh, I'd love to, but I gotta catch my bus.
Say, man, you got plenty of time. Your bus ain't coming from where you live anyway?
I'm from Jersey. Are you from Jersey? I'm from Jersey.
No, baby, I'm from New York City.
I just like watching Eddie and Joe, and I was just more curious from that angle. There was really nothing to this, but I was kind of a sucker for like the voice that Eddie tends to use, just kind of like watching him maneuver. I think there was a missed opportunity, but what'd you think of Paulie Herman coming back and Eddie playing the 3-card?
I like Paulie Herman more this week than the previous week. I'm impressed that the studio audience gave a clap when he did that. I'm from Jersey. It's only the second time he's done it.
Yeah.
So
They're
I'm
really
like,
trying to push the catchphrase, aren't they?
Yeah. But it made me laugh more this time. And it's one of those things where my bias comes out because you can see the chemistry that Eddie and Joe have that for the next like 2-3 seasons after this is going to really carry the show. You can see that in this sketch to me. Like, they just kind of have a vibe, and that's what I thought about. I think he could have done more. I think the sketch could have been longer, honestly.
Yeah, it stalled. It stalled at a certain point. You had a cop entering the scene, and Eddie was, relieved that they didn't get arrested, and the sketch just sort of died.
It died
at some point. But to me, this was more so like a vibes kind of based sketch.
Right. I think it was vibes. It was a way to get Paulie Herman back out there because obviously people like that. So I like what they're going with as far as you're seeing Eddie, you're getting Joe more screen time, but it didn't land necessarily. It had some funny bits, but overall was weird. And I do think Charles Rocket, like, they just got to find a way to use him. And I'm like, why? Yeah. Like, let Eddie and Joe have this sketch. Let it be about the card game or something.
Right.
Eddie tries to hustle Paulie, and Paulie by accident keeps winning.
Paulie's an idiot savant.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah. And then he's just, I'm from Jersey, and like I guess I keep winning, and like let Eddie get annoyed. Like to me, like why do you have a cop coming in and Charlie Rocket just brought nothing, and just kind of stop the flow. I feel like he was the
Exactly.
weak link of the sketch.
Exactly. Yeah, he just sort of very abruptly stopped. Maybe they could have had Paulie, like he becomes so good that Eddie's like, hey, and then somebody else comes to the table and he has Paulie actually like be the 3-card Monty dealer or whatever. Like they could have. I think they just kind of stalled. They were just relying on Eddie and Joe's chemistry, possibly, which not a bad way to go. Eddie's voice reminded me of the one he used in Trading Places when he was in jail.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I love when he puts on that voice. So.
Hey, who is it? Like
Exactly.
he gets that. Yeah, he's great with that.
Yeah. So not bad here. But maybe they left a little bit on the table. So next we have, who is Gilbert Gottfried? So Gilbert shows us how he got on the show.
Hi, how do you do? Look, this isn't a stick-up, and I don't want any money or anything, but where's the camera? I need an audition tape right away. You just gotta film me. I need an audition. There's a big show coming up. There's a big show. Wait, I could have been a contender, Charlie. I'm on top of the world, Ma. I'm on top of the world.
Jeremy, I wonder if this was in a way like his Bill Murray.
I was thinking the same thing.
Were you thinking, like,
Yes.
I swear I'm better than what I've been showing, like, kind of thing? Like, I really got that vibe. Like, are they trying to do with Gilbert what they did with Bill Murray?
I'm so glad you said that, because that's what I thought of instantly, especially because R.I.P., love Gilbert, but he's been rough on here.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of like his chance. This is
them
what he's
acknowledging
doing.
that he's been rough on the show?
And that's what I feel like, they kind of were doing that. I thought this was okay. I liked the whole bank robbery thing at the end. I thought it was an okay angle, and maybe because I just liked that they were, in my opinion, and I guess yours as well, playing tongue-in-cheek, like, I'm not making it on the show.
Yeah.
Like, that made it funnier even for me. So I actually did like this.
Maybe the response, I don't know if they saw feedback of, like, how did this guy get on the show? So they thought it would be funny to actually have a sketch showing you how he got on the show. So I like the idea. It was dragging for me until the bank part. Honestly, I was sitting there going like, I don't like this. But then the bank, the idea of like him walking into the bank and instead of sticking it up, he just found where the cameras were so he could use the cameras to make an audition tape.
Yeah.
I really liked that. His trademark voice kind of slipped out.
I was about to say that's what made me like it, was I could hear the classic Gilbert voice. I haven't really heard that in the other episodes, but in this, I could hear it, and that kind of made me smile a little bit. Like, okay, like that's the Gilbert Gottfried we come to know years later coming out here.
It worked okay. It wasn't, of course it wasn't, because the Bill Murray bit was legendary. This didn't quite work that way, but I thought it was okay. I didn't mind it. One of the better things that Gilbert's done this season.
Could be argued for me, besides the Matador, like in the city, this like is his number 2 best thing, like for me, that Gilbert like stars in.
Yeah. So Gilbert Gottfried, how did he get on the show? They answered that question. Sketch number 5 here in the rundown. Dying to be heard. Very dark premise. Super dark premise.
It was dark.
Man, so Ann Risley's first appearance of the night, and basically I can see the commentary. So basically it's a commentary on how women had to have committed suicide just to become famous poets. Whereas men could just, so women had to like do that just so they could be heard and become famous. And I initially thought like, oh, I can see this turning very dark. And it did. It kind of shocked me.
Before our home viewers, I will read your poem, My Family, My Life, to the world, and your voice will be heard to millions and millions of television viewers. Anna, are you ready?
Yes. Mommy, don't do it, please. I'm going to go to school tomorrow.
No, it was shocking. I thought Jamie was the funny. I like Jamie in this sketch. I thought just the different ridiculous ways of methods of trying to kill herself were funny. Anne was kind of stiff. She didn't really bring anything. But I really thought it was Jamie, and she kind of impressed me. I've been really impressed with her as a whole. Like, she carried this sketch. And I feel like you haven't so far in season 6 allowed, and I kind of get it, because you haven't had too many, like, quote-unquote comedic people, but you haven't let people carry sketches. They kind of just been a part of them. But to me, they're really letting her. She co-carried the earlier one with Gail, and I think she was the lead here and the best part of this sketch. I really liked it. So they're going dark, but this one kind of landed. A lot of times when they go dark in season 6 so far, they are missing the landing big time. But I think they somewhat stuck the landing here, for me at least.
Well, they had a point of view, and I think they executed like it. They didn't the angle of the sketch didn't get muddied or anything like that. They laid it out. They had kind of a observation about women poetesses, and and I think they did a good job of not muddying the waters there. Jamie plays a poetess who beats herself with the joy of cooking to unalive herself. Where it got dark for me was when Joe and Denny, as the kids, were pleading with her not to do it. I was like, oh my God. Okay, this is where it's getting dark.
It's going to get, it did definitely get dark in there. But I think this is what you need. And I think we've been, in my opinion, able to kind of point out where sometimes the acting is lacking in a sketch and sometimes it's just the writing. Here's a good, because you're right, the concept is interesting, the format, and Jamie's delivering. So this is what you want in a classic. I'm not calling this a classic sketch, but in the sketches that work, it's the writing and the concept and then how they perform it all come together. And it's not a classic sketch, but I think it's good because both are coming together like at a good level here.
Yeah, it mostly worked for me, and the episode's mostly working for me so far.
So far, it's a surprising, like, when we watched episode 2, I was like, oh man, maybe this is why this is why they all got fired. I hate to say it, but if you got more like this, then I can't be mad at the people. But I mean, and as bad as that was, you see some promise with people and see some oh man, I don't know why they got rid of this person after the first season or only 1 year. Like so far, like you're seeing some talented people, especially with Denny and Gail. Like their talent really comes through.
Yeah, definitely. And we carry on the momentum to our first musical performance. It's James Brown performing Rap Payback.
Where's Moses? Do it. Good God. Look at here. Ha. I know you heard of the Master G. But you didn't hear nothing till you don't get me. Hit me.
This was so much fun. I'm just going to say, I'm just loving this so much. James Brown's such a powerful entertainer with his dancing. Like he could put on a show like no one else basically that's like ever been alive. Essentially.
It's to me, it's, if I'm going to give for entertainer, it's James Brown. I think Michael Jackson did take the mantle from James Brown, but James Brown had it for a long time. And then if you listen to our other podcasts, I think Beyonce is there. But like James Brown's on a Mount Rushmore of dead or alive performers I would see because I want to say James Brown and Michael Jackson, for older people in my family, they saw those two performers the most.
Yeah.
So if you ask my parents, they saw James Brown probably a few years earlier than this. So this isn't prime James Brown either.
No, this is like 1980. Prime James Brown, I would argue, is mid-60s.
Mid-60s, and probably toward like a little bit into the early 70s is like prime him. But when you watch him, he is just pure energy. He's probably the number one person I would never want to follow. No matter how talented I am, don't follow James Brown. Like it's just unbelievable. Love it, man.
He has more performing flair than Michael Jackson did. And
I think
Beyonce.
so.
Like I think James Brown, there's something energetic and magnetic about him, like some sort of flair that he has that can't be duplicated.
No, it can't be. He knew how to play a crowd. I mean, and Michael did too. But he knows how to play a crowd.
Yeah, Michael was more contained, though. James just like there's something of like it seemed like James was way more free in how he entertained people.
Well, I think Michael went through. He was going to give you like a break in the show.
Yeah,
where JB doesn't, except for like the end. He's going to give like a please, 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 like please, baby, don't go.
Yeah.
Like he's going to slow. It's going to go way slow. But other than that, he's just energy the whole. Like you're not sitting down for him.
It's less choreographed. I think Michael's more choreographed.
Yeah,
I think
Michael
James just seems like more of a free spirit up there.
Yeah, because I think I give the entertainer label to Michael because like they have other things that they did, other influences too. But when it comes to just pure putting on a concert, I can't think of anyone better than James Brown.
Yeah.
Because you got to look at it, like including this performance here. Everybody else we can think of after him, you had Pomp and Circumstance. You had a show with it, which I don't knock. That's cool. With like Taylor Swift, we love Taylor Swift, we love Beyonce, but there's graphics and costume changes.
Exactly.
With JB, it's just him sweating in one suit with the band, and he's just letting it hang on out, and he has a cape that gets thrown on him. Yeah. That's it. Like, so he doesn't need the Pomp and Circumstance. He just needs, give me a microphone and give me my band and step back. Yeah. Like, it's awesome.
This was so good. This was awesome. So all the thumbs up for this performance. So James Brown heads into Weekend Update. We have 3 update pieces. Charles Rocket, I'll just quickly say, I hate when he mugs for and sarcastically cracks up after his jokes. He's just like, he, like, I know he's just, it's some sort of character trait that he's trying to put on, but I'm having trouble, Jeremy. It's like watching Charles deliver jokes is becoming a very real slog for me.
He's becoming, I don't think he's the worst performer, but he's my least favorite performer so far. I don't like seeing Charles Rocket, especially, I think I don't know which one's more annoying, him in other sketches or Weekend Update. Both of them, I go, what are you doing? But Weekend Update just really makes me like sick when I see him. I'm like, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, just the whole like he'll deliver a joke and then he just kind of has this self-satisfied. I'm like, even if that's like some character trait that you're putting onto your update character, like I'm not with it. So sometimes we get a reprieve though during Weekend Update. We have some of these update pieces. So we have Denny Dillon. She plays a woods woman who's been living in the woods by herself for 40 years. She's commenting on the government planning to dump nuclear waste where she lives. We have Joe Piscopo on sports, and we have Eddie Murphy with some Christmas shopping tips. So where do you want to start with these update bits?
I think Joe, because the reason why I say Joe is, once again, we have him doing a sports commentary, and I will give John Schneider credit. That's where I first heard it and have been thinking about it nonstop. I don't understand why he wasn't just the Weekend Update guy. And I really do think if he did it his whole time, could have been one of the best Weekend Update people we had. I really feel that way about Joe. And when I see this, I like his sports comment. I mean, we're big sports fans, but I enjoy his sports commentaries a lot, honestly.
The big story this week, baseball, winter meetings, Dallas, Anatole Hotel, owners, managers, players, most swapped in past 10 years. Unbelievable what trading action. Recap. Suter, cards, fingers too. Reeds, Cubs, Herzog pulls a coup.
I just see from Charles to Joe, and I'm like, how are you guys not seeing this? like how do you not make the switch? Like, it's got to be Joe.
Yeah, I like Joe as a performer, and I think he should have been the update guy. I agree. This particular sports commentary didn't quite land with me for some reason, though I think it was just like I didn't understand the point necessarily. It was just kind of like, I don't know, there was just no joke in there for me.
No, I think it was just him going really fast with it.
Yeah.
Kind of like just kind of giving it like, I think it was like it wasn't the joke as much as him being a spoof of like a Howard Cosell Weekend Update, kind of like giving it. And so because I know people who did, especially not even on, there's local like sports reporters on the news who did that. Give me the top story today.
Because they only gave me like 40 seconds for sports.
Right.
Here's my delivery, yeah.
So and we both did radio. I remember like the sports update people would kind of be quick sometimes, and I'm like,
I was a sports update guy.
I was too. Yeah. Yep. So you're getting it in there quick. So that's what made me laugh. I can see what you mean though. If you're not of that era, it probably wouldn't land.
Yeah.
But I think like knowing like sports broadcasters who did that, especially back then, it made me laugh because I'm like, he sounds kind of like him.
Fair enough. Yeah. I did like the aspect of it, like, how they say, like, guys will just get together and, like, let's name some players. And I like that aspect of it. I'm like, oh, Burt Blylev and Dave Winfield. Like,
yeah.
I did like that. I appreciated that aspect. Danny Dillon's update piece, I thought it was okay. I appreciated there was some like real political commentary about burying nuclear waste.
I also heard where Mr. Reagan on the wireless was saying that this nuclear stuff is not bad and it ain't gonna hurt nobody. Well, if that's true, why don't we take half of that nuclear waste and bury it back on Mr. Reagan's ranch? And then
saying that like Reagan's saying that it's perfectly safe, and she's like, well, if it's safe, let's bury it in your ranch. Like, I kind of like that. Like, that was kind of like hard-hitting perspective there.
Yeah, I feel like they've missed so much on political and social commentary that they finally just go right at it. Stop trying to... How you're trying to mask it so far has been terrible. Where you feel like... I feel like I said earlier, you're punching down. I don't think that's your intent to, but that's how it's coming across. Just come direct at your point. When it's not landing, just be direct with it. And I like that. I did give it like a yes, because it's like there's so much you can do with 1980 and Reagan and the conservative movement that was coming and that happened. And I'm like, you're just dropping the ball so bad here. So this was the first time I'm like, this political commentary I agree with.
Yeah, this reminded me of something that Mike Cecily Strong might do on Update.
Yeah, that's a good
like going into character and then really like making a point, like making a kind of a sharp point. Definitely reminding me of something that Cecily would do. So I liked it.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
I like that.
I really liked it. Telling Reagan, since it's not harmful, let's bury half on your ranch and half at the White House.
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah. So yeah, very, very good. The last update piece was Eddie Murphy with some Christmas shopping tips.
Thank you, Charlie. We know Christmas is around the corner, and with the high price of food, you're probably wondering what you're going to feed your family this year. I think I've come up with the solution. Dog food.
This is one that Eddie remembers, too. I think he holds this update piece pretty fondly.
I've heard this mentioned about a few people in history of comedy that I think is true. I heard it mentioned about like Red Fox. He's probably the biggest one I heard they said that about, where he can read a phone book, where he can deliver like awful news to you and still make you laugh. I'm starting to look at Eddie Murphy like that. Like, you can just have him do the dumbest things, which they are, and he still just being Eddie can just make it land and make you laugh. Like, I liked it, and I don't think, like, when he came on Update with Joe the other week, that, like, the concept, that was Barry Blaustein actually got that story, R.I.P. So, like, that worked, where this is, like, kind of stupid, but I laugh because Eddie just makes it work. And he's just funny in delivering it. So, like, and I can see why he would remember this. I mean, it is early on, and it is him getting TV time, but doing, like, goofy stuff.
Yeah, for sure. He also said that Michael O'Donoghue told him that the only reason why he was kept at the end of season 6 was because, quote, he ate dog food. So Michael O'Donoghue, like, cited to Eddie, like, you're kept around because, basically you're a committed performer because you ate dog food on a Weekend Update. So that's what Eddie says. Like, Michael O'Donoghue said that.
Yeah, and was O'Donoghue back yet? He wasn't quite back. He comes back later.
But O'Donoghue had seen this somehow.
Yeah.
And clocked Eddie as, like, a good committed performer or something. So I guess
he's so weird.
O'Donoghue?
Yeah, he's so weird. Because I see what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
But I'm like, he says it so bad. Like, just say you were a committed performer. And if you want to reference that dog, don't say, we only kept you because you ate dog food.
Yeah.
It's like,
I guess Eddie remembers it kind of fondly. He's like, yeah, that might be the sketch that helped keep me around. I don't know.
I think Eddie knew, no disrespect to what O'Donoghue did contribute in the first 5 years. I think Eddie, even at 19 years old, almost 20 years old, knew O'Donoghue was a clown.
Yeah.
So he knew, like, this dude, like, he wasn't afraid or bothered by him. So that's kind of why. But yeah.
And I guess the premise of this update piece was maybe like Eddie observed that they sell dog food at these like stores by these apartments or whatever that you're not allowed to have dogs in. So then that's what prompted him to say his suggestion to feed your family over the holidays was feed them dog food. And he compared the nutritional value of the dog food to the canned ham. And then he said, how about dog treats for a snack? And then he ended up eating the wet dog food. which wasn't wet dog food. It was, I forgot what Eddie said it was, but
I forgot what he said. Yeah,
but as
Sloppy
far as the
Joe
concept,
or something like that.
as far as the concept goes, like I enjoyed it, but I think you're right. Like Eddie could read the phone book, and I'd be like, oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, because I know the premise of where he came up with it, but I don't think you get that as strongly in this sketch. Besides, like just him commenting on it and doing his thing, like I wish the writers could kind of illustrate that more or highlight that statement of like, yeah, you're selling dog food in neighborhoods where people aren't allowed to have dogs, and right next to like why, and like what that means is like, yeah, are you telling them to buy dog food for themselves? Like they don't got no food for, like make it a stronger political statement.
Sure.
I wish they would have made, but Eddie still is Eddie.
Fair enough, yeah. So after Weekend Update, we got another sketch. This is the card theme sketch that just I hated. This just went over like a lead balloon for me. This was Poker and Drugs Don't Mix. So we have stoners played by Denny Dillon, Gilbert Gottfried, Joe Piscopo, and Risley, and Matthew Lawrence. I think this might be Matthew Lawrence's first appearance on the show. So they're stoners who are misplaying poker hands because they're so stoned. It's set up as a PSA.
Because of marijuana, this man thinks his 4 of clubs is a spade.
I'll see your 2, and I'll raise you 15.
He thinks he's got a flush.
I think this was a hokey premise, and it felt like a high school theater troupe wrote this for their Friday Night Live that they're going to perform for their parents.
Let's go. I think you're right with that. It felt like high school, like amateur hour. This is one we talked about, or I mentioned earlier, we've talked about on the show about whether it's the writing is good or bad or the performing. For this one, both are bad.
Mm-hmm.
The writing stinks, the concept stinks, the performing stinks, honestly. Like, nobody was good in this sketch. I kind of feel bad for Anne because I'm like, I don't know if we're getting to see what she can do because I feel like she's always in just crappy or like meh kind of sketches.
She's handed a lot of thankless parts.
Yeah, and like it's not even thankless parts in like really good sketches. They're like thankless parts in like the crappy ones. So I'm kind of like, man, I feel like I can't judge her as a performer yet almost because I'm like, she's been put in like bad situations. This is one of them, like just a bad spot.
Yeah, this is just a bad concept. Gilbert, they're supposed to be playing stoned and at least give Gilbert something to say. Like, he doesn't even look stoned. He's just sort of like, I don't know. It's just...
And I'm like, you're not far from the 70s. You've had to, either y'all got stoned or you know people who did get stoned.
You know what being stoned is like.
But you're acting like you don't. Like these writers and everybody, it's like, have you met someone who was stoned before? Because I don't get anything from this.
Yeah,
like,
it's just a hokey idea.
Yeah.
Like, people who are stoned might misplay good hands. I don't know.
No, you're
we can
right.
Move on. This sucks.
You're right. You're right in the high school compare because like only high schoolers this is what being stoned is like, and it's like, have you ever really been around someone who was stoned? It's like you probably weren't, and that's what it feels like. So it's a good comparison to the high school amateur hour.
Yeah. The next thing we have is part 2 of the Cloven Hind Jeans runner. So I'm really glad that this is a runner because, like I said, my original critique I had was that the first one, there was just so much more to parody from the real Brooke Shields ads. And this is kind of what I was talking about.
I have 7 clovens in my closet. And if they could talk, I could act.
Cloven Hind Jeans.
In the real ads, Brooke had like these odd movements, like she was doing yoga poses and doing all this stuff, and it was kind of bizarre. And I think Gail's odd movements were pretty great. I think she recaptured some of the weirdness from the real commercials.
So far, maybe the most creative things that they've done in these first 4 is this 3-part parody of those commercials. Like maybe the most like, oh, like this is what SNL is like. You're parodying these commercials, and Gail is the perfect person to play. Like I can't think of anyone else who could like nail this like she could. Like they cracked me up. Like I was dying.
Yeah, and I think this is the second of the third, and I think they're kind of getting better, honestly.
They're hilarious, yeah.
Yeah, I think the escalations there across and I'm glad they're doing runners.
That's what I'm saying. It's creative, it's different, it's simple, but yet like you got to because if you botch this, it could really hurt the whole episode all night long if they're just not landing. So like kudos to them for trying it, but they're sticking the landing big time.
Absolutely. Yeah, Gail's doing a great job. Next we have more wordplay, Jeremy. We got a good wordplay sketch here. It's the Badger Convention.
Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me, good evening. You all must be the Badgers. Would you like to check your hats?
There's nothing wrong with our hats. Would you like to check the bottoms of your shoes?
The kind of playing off of like the royal, like the moose or the like, you know, those groups that get together, like the Royal Order of the whatever.
Yeah.
So this is like a Badger Convention.
Like the Elk Club or something.
The Elks and exactly. Things like that. And the wordplay here is less in your face, I think, compared to something like the surf one from the Malcolm McDowell episode.
Right.
So they're badgers. They have badger like skin hats and stuff, but they're also badgering people who walk in, like the wait staff and everything. I kind of got tired of this sketch pretty quickly.
It wasn't good. It was, I think the second card playing sketch is probably the worst sketch of the night for me.
Yeah,
but this might be like right above it. This wasn't good. Like I see where they were going with it, but it just kind of was like it was low hanging fruit. I feel like it was just cheap.
Yeah, it was cheap. I think that's a good way to put it. This just felt really cheap. Do you think Eddie was excited about wearing a fake stuffed badger on his head, Jeremy?
Yeah. Even though Eddie, to me, being such as people don't know, like a huge Eddie fan and will study everything.
I think everybody knows that.
Yeah, I love Eddie Murphy. Like, my dude. It's my dude, man. But I think, like, even though he was pretty self-aware at this age and pretty, like, with it and confident, I think there was also a little bit of he's too inexperienced to know what he doesn't know what he doesn't know.
Yeah.
So to him, it's like I'm 19. I just graduated high school a year and a half ago. I'm getting on TV. Who cares what I'm doing?
He has to play ball. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he's just like, hey, and I do think there's a little bit of confidence where he's just like, I can make anything. I can make it happen.
Right.
Like,
and his voice was maybe the best thing about this sketch. The voice that he put on for this sketch.
For sure.
It's the only thing that got a little bit of a chuckle out of me. So that was Badger Convention. But then, next we have the second James Brown song. He performs a medley here of I Don't Care, I Can't Stand Myself, Papa's Got a Brand New Bag, I Got You, I Feel Good, and Please, Please, Please. It's a medley of those great songs.
Papa, can you fight? Into the end, that you breathe.
I was wondering, just kind of a thought crossed my mind while I was watching this, Jeremy. Is this one of the best performances in SNL history?
Yes, we dropped the ball when we did on this pod on Not Ready for our Bill Swirsky tournament talk, and we had SNL music performances. I dropped the ball, so I'm not going to like say it wasn't me included, but this should have been in the running.
Yeah. I had never seen this performance, so it was just ignorance for me.
So James Brown, like Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, James Brown, Aretha Franklin, those are like the Mount Rushmore of performers on both sides of my family.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot, just like with Eddie Murphy, I know a lot about James Brown. So through documentaries and different clips, I've seen clips of this. I've never seen it all together like this, though. So it was cool to see everything together, and it's one of those things where he's kind of doing like not a retirement tour, like a swan song thing, but he's playing like his old classics that have been out. But just watching him, it's like, bro, you're still in the prime. Like you can still kill it right now in 1980. Like who can perform like you?
Was he only in his late 40s by now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which means something totally different in 1980 than it does now.
You're like a dinosaur if you're in your late 40s then.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just think this has to be one of the handful of greatest of all time performances in SNL. Like,
I think so.
Like this, and I'm always partial to like the Foo Fighters doing Times Like These a few years ago. Neil Young doing Rockin' in the Free World was great.
I think that's the GOAT. I think that one I will blame other people.
Yeah.
Like for our Bill Swirsky tournament talk. Because I voted for that. I'm like, Neil Young.
You were
is
right
it.
about that. You were on the right side of history. But this has to be in the top 4 or 5 greatest performances in SNL history.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Sorry to put you on the hot seat, but season 5 had a great David Bowie performance.
Yeah.
Do you rank this above it or below it?
Above it.
I do too.
I had a lot more, like, I love that Bowie performance, but I had so much fun watching this. This was just captivating. This, like, I couldn't get over how great this performance was. Specifically the medley. Like, the first song was great, but specifically this medley is like my Mount Rushmore all-time great performances.
You know why? Because we've talked about it, and probably will be a running joke throughout our season about how bad episode 2 was. Now, if you put David Bowie's performance on that episode 2, I think that episode was so bad, Bowie's performance would get washed out.
Yeah.
Where I think if you put James Brown's performances on that episode, the episode's still terrible, but you probably would be like, that episode sucked. But man, James Brown was great.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean?
Brown
Like,
salvaged what he could from that.
Yeah, it was bad. But boy, we saw James Brown. Like, I would not have walked out like, James Brown's here. This episode sucks, but I'm sticking around to see James Brown. Like I think you're right. It could be a GOAT performance, but definitely a Mount Rushmore SNL performance.
Yeah.
I'm blown away.
I wouldn't have blamed the show if they just ended the episode now and just went to like Carson or just went to something. It's just like, we can't top this. Episode's over. We're cutting every sketch. We're not even doing the good nights. We're just gonna end it right here.
I honestly think it would have been best if this is the last thing.
Right.
And I might give you the good nights afterwards,
Maybe,
but we don't need any more sketches. Ended on this. This is the best thing in the episode. This performance right
far.
here was just unbelievable, man. And the thing is, I know you're a big music guy and but this isn't even prime James Brown. Like if you watch James Brown in his prime, there's no way your mouth doesn't just drop to the floor of what he's doing. So like I'm just so impressed.
If I'm Ellen Shipley, I might just say no thank you to performing after the masterclass that just happened.
There's no my manager could not convince me to go on. I'd be like, there's no way in hell.
You want me to follow that?
Yeah, it's like, no. They're like, this could be your break. People watch this show? I don't care. Like, it's just not in the cards for me.
Yeah. So we've glowed about this enough, but just amazing performance by James Brown. Next, we have a sketch, the Torch-O-Matic, which is Charles Rocket as a pitchman for a device that lets you get accustomed to pain.
Having a hard time taking physical abuse? Maybe your endurance for pain is lagging behind most people. Torch-O-Matic may be just what you need. Learn to tolerate immense suffering. Use it on the hips, the thighs, the neck, the buttocks, the shoulders, the skull, and the biceps.
If it wasn't for that stoner card sketch, this might actually have been my
I forgot about this one.
I don't blame you for forgetting about this one.
Yeah, this is bad. I'm just
You're not a Charles Rocket guy.
I'm not a fan of him, and I didn't know the guy personally.
Yeah.
I think the fact that people will say it's not about likability in comedy. I've heard like famous comedians say it's about your act. It is about your act, but like you have to be likable. And I think for me, what comes across, he thinks he's the man. He thinks he's like delivering gold stuff. And that's what makes it even worse. It's like he is an arrogance to him that he thinks he's like bringing it. And I'm like, hey, this stage isn't big enough for me. He might be a humble dude. I don't know.
Yeah, I liked him in Dumb and Dumber. Like, he played that role well in Dumb and Dumber. Like,
he did.
But
he did. You're right. But I feel like you totally missed what Chevy did so well in season 1. And he still comes across like he's trying to do a Chevy Chase impression. And I feel like the network and the producers are trying to push him like, hey, Chevy was the breakout star in the first season. Charlie is the break. Because to me, already at this point, you should know we don't need Charlie. Ann should be in more sketches than Charlie Rocket. Like, she should have more screen time.
Agreed. And Joe should have been doing this one.
Yes.
Like, this sketch shouldn't have even happened. But if you were going to air it, Joe should have been the pitch man doing this.
It should be for minutes right now. I mean, we know Eddie's going to rise up and get it, but Denny, Gail, Joe should be like the leading minute, people for cast members. And I feel like it's Gail, Denny, Charlie Rocket. And that hurts. Like, that's because you see it with Gilbert. Gilbert's getting less airtime, in my opinion, because they kind of know he's not nailing it. But you're missing the point here with Charlie Rocket.
Yeah, agreed. But next we have another short shot, which is famous, big directors doing small films, essentially. And SNL's been doing a really interesting job here of putting interesting cultural artifacts or pop cultural artifacts on their show. So we had Fish Heads, right? That Fish Heads music video. This is another interesting one. So it was from director Martin Brest, who people know from War Games, Beverly Hills Cop, Midnight Run, Geely, which you can't win them all, but he directed Geely as well. And this is genuinely a student film that he did at NYU in 1972. And who pops up as the lead actor in this short, Jeremy?
Louis De Palma himself, Mr. Danny DeVito.
Yes.
One day each year, they close the island to the public so that they can do repairs. Now, tomorrow is that day. There's only going to be 5 maintenance men on the island.
Oh, my God.
And at 12 noon, they're all going to be in the sub-basement eating lunch.
He's already playing Louis on Taxi. Taxi does switch to NBC like a couple seasons later, but it's an ABC show. One of the great characters in TV history, Louis De Palma, that Danny DeVito played. I never asked you, are you a big DeVito fan?
I like DeVito.
I like DeVito a lot.
I really
honestly.
like DeVito a lot.
Yeah, I like
even
DeVito
when he
a
doesn't
lot.
speak to when he's in a One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, I still like DeVito. In that.
Yeah, there's something about him you're just hooked. And even these Jersey Mike commercials he's in, he makes me laugh. So he's someone I like, but this video made me kind of think about I like him way more than I give credit. Like, DeVito always brings a smile to my face. And he's a hell of a performer. He brings it.
Yeah, such a committed performer. And this was when DeVito was younger.
He was young.
Yeah, this was in 72. But you're right, people would have watched this short and been pointed at the screen like Leo in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like Danny DeVito.
Yep,
oh my gosh.
Exactly.
So this was shot 8 years prior. It's about a photographer who plots to blow up the Statue of Liberty so he can capture a photo of it and become rich and famous. So he was pointing and saying the Hindenburg photo, this photo became famous and this person became a famous photographer. So his plot was to blow up the Statue of Liberty, which I enjoyed. And the original movie was 22 minutes. So we got the condensed version. The original one had Rhea Perlman, which I thought would have been cool. I'm gonna have to go seek out and watch the 22 minutes. But Jeremy, the original is called Hot Dogs for Gauguin.
Mm-hmm.
The Library of Congress selected the longer version for preservation in the National Film Registry, and it's in the Museum of Modern Art now.
Really?
Yes.
I never knew that.
Yeah, so this is
you're bringing the facts today, man.
Yeah, this is a truly
innovative and groundbreaking.
This is truly a pop cultural artifact right here.
Yeah. I didn't do, I'll be honest, I didn't do any deep diving into this more, so I really didn't know that.
I was just super curious about this. I'm like, Martin Brest, because originally I was wondering, was this really a student film? And then I realized that it was, and it had a Wikipedia entry, so I looked at that, and I'm like, holy crap, they declared it a really important one, too. By the way, I like this. I think it was the best short shot of the season so far.
I agree. I thought it was interesting. It was funny, but it looked very cool. Even though it was 8 years earlier, it had a unique style. The black and white worked for me. It's funny. I didn't know if you were into that, too, where, I care what gets into like the National Library of Congress.
Yeah,
so when
yeah.
something gets that I know, I'm like, all right, I feel good. But when things like this that I didn't know, it kind of it bumps it up for me. Like now I got to watch the 22-minute whole thing here because I did not know. I'm pleasantly surprised and kind of stunned. Like I would have lost all the money, which isn't a lot, but all the money I have, if you like saying that this was in the National registry, like, yeah, no way. So this is really cool.
Yeah, I want to go watch the full version, but this was awesome how it worked, and you're seeing a young Danny DeVito just kill it in this. So
we have you looked at whose idea? I know that you can't everyone will take credit for good ideas, but have you looked into who came up with using these in season 6 yet, or no?
No,
I haven't either.
I haven't done that. Yeah, I need to. What a bad host. I need to go do more research here now.
That's on me too because also I'm kind of waiting to see if they like fall off or like
they haven't so far.
Yeah, they've all been good,
and
so I'm like I think it's time to see because imagine this like a Gene idea. I'd be like, oh man, like go ahead, Gene.
Yeah, whoever it was, great idea.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, for sure. Next sketch we have is a live sketch, and I think this is a recurring character as well. I seem to remember knowing about this Gail character, Rowena, playing a hairstylist doing Nadine's hair, and Nadine is played by Denny Dillon, and Jamie Lee Curtis plays Nadine's daughter.
Oh, yeah. That's where all them kids go these days, don't you know? Yeah, they either go to L.A. or they go to prison.
Well, what's she doing back here?
Well, I ain't the G-darn UN. Ask her yourself. Jeez. I think what we all need here is a Diet Pepsi.
Who's visiting from California. She evidently changed a lot, her look and attitude. She looks exactly like David Bowie. So they're kind of commenting on that. I really liked this. Like, I think it was good. I think it ended a little bit abruptly, but I enjoyed just kind of watching this play out. I thought it was a nice scene.
Gail was hilarious.
Yeah.
One thing that I did know, but what it reminded me of is Gail was on Bobby's World and was that mom with that like Minnesota kind of, and then it's the same kind of voice that you would hear because Bobby's World was like one of my first early cartoon
love me some Bobby's World.
Yes, Howie Mandel, baby. So it was like that when I first heard it, I'm like, that sounds like the mom on Bobby's World. I'm like, oh yeah, she did play the mom.
Yeah, Gail was the mom on Bobby's World.
Yeah, I'm like, so that's it.
She even said a "Don't you know." She even broke one of those out. And Gail's from South Dakota, so she probably I don't know if North Dakota and the South Dakota accents are alike, but she's from that region.
She gives the Fargo kind of feel before Fargo made it known. But this is what influenced the Bobby's World.
Absolutely.
Like, the mom. So that's what made me kind of like it. So I'm a little biased anyway because I love Bobby's World. So I smiled when I heard that voice.
Oh, for sure.
But I do like this character.
No, and it was a nice scene. I think it was a really almost kind of touching thing, like this mom and the hairstylist, like, you know, trying to learn how to accept the daughter who went to California and changed. And I like that they let the scene breathe a little bit. They just sort of reminded me of something like The Waitress, like Jan Hooks and Alec Baldwin, and just kind of letting a scene play out and breathe a little bit. I like the characters. I like the Rowena character. I like the Nadine character. It did end a little abruptly, but that's just a nitpick. Like, I thought this was a very well-conceived, good sketch.
Well-conceived sketch, and I am impressed with Gail, but like that's not as much a shocker if you've been listening to us. But Jamie Lee Curtis, I'm just like, man, she's become one of my favorite hosts tonight. I'm impressed with what she's bringing here, where she's hanging with the sketch performers, and it's like, hell, if I didn't know any better, you should put her on the show. Like, to me, she's better than most. I'll say she'd be the 5th best cast member right now. like she was that good. So I'm like, yeah, like I like what she's bringing here. And I think her and Gail, I mean, Gail and Denny have good chemistry, but her and Gail tonight show that they have like a good chemistry between the two of them, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to this Rowena character coming back. I can't decide. I might like this slightly more than the Vicky character.
It has potential. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Like it could. It really could. I was very impressed. Like with she came with a lot of like great stuff in her bag. Gail did. You could tell, like
exactly.
Like you could tell this is stuff that she did years earlier. You know what I mean? Especially this character, like because it's kind of fine tuned pretty well. Like she knew the beats of it like pretty well. So I think, only a reason why I won't go that far is because we've only seen it the one time. But I see potential, and I like the Vicky character, but this could be better,
Yeah, and Gail's Great Night will continue with the third of the three-part runner of the Clovenhine jeans parody ads.
There once was a girl in her teens who showed her behind to sell jeans. The networks got hot when she did a cheap shot, and her scheme came apart at the seams.
Clovenhine jeans.
When I was talking about the escalation, I think they hit it because Brooke's real ad that they're parodying here, you go watch it, like Brooke's like contorting herself in these bizarre, like she has her like legs all weird, and it's just so bizarre. And I like Brooke Shields. She's very charming. She was I celebrate her work in Black and White. Remember that movie?
Yes.
Yeah. So no, Brooke's like, I like her, but she's just she acted bizarre in these ads, and
these are iconic commercials.
They
too.
really are. Yeah. So that's why it stands the test of time. And just Gail's contorting her body's really funny to me. I think I love that the runner aspect. I love Gail's performance. Like these have hit with me.
The most creative thing to me as far as sketches or parody, like my favorite thing of the season so far has been this.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed these runners, and like honestly, if you gave me like on YouTube a 15-minute like clip of Gail doing these, I would eat that up in a heartbeat. Like they're just hilarious, and she just nails like the absurdity, because that's kind of how I feel when I wasn't born yet when those commercials happened, and I see them, and everyone talked about them, and people of that generation talk about, oh yeah, Brooke Shields. But then I watched them, and I'm like, this was just normal. Like no one commented on like what she's doing. Like everyone just went, oh yeah, she's contorting her body. Calvin Klein jeans. I'm gonna go buy some. Like y'all weren't saying, what the hell is she doing? And I'm glad you get that with Gail being like, these are this is kind of weird that this is becoming like an iconic commercial here. Like, let's just talk about this.
Yeah, they're so ripe for parody, and SNL delivered on it right here. So kudos to them. And then we have the final sketch of the evening, Ocelots. So Jamie plays a news reporter interviewing the leader of an all-female biker gang, played by Ann Risley.
You know, I hate it when drivers leave some bashed-in bloody mess all over the yellow line. You know, they cream their Buicks into some raccoon or something. Nobody cares. It tears my heart out.
This was so confusing to me. I didn't enjoy it at all. The writing was confusing. I think Anne was miscast. It was just a dud to end the night, sketch-wise.
Yeah. Once again, I hate to say, sometimes we overthink it. You had to have seen something with Jamie and Gail, and then it's working. You have dress rehearsal. So you know what? This last sketch, let's do Jamie and Anne. Let's just mix it up for the hell of it here. Let's just do... It's like, if you put Gail in here, it's still like a weird sketch, but based on talent, it's better.
Yeah,
this just fell flat. And Denny would have been great too.
I think Denny would have been. She's done a sketch in leather. We saw.
We have.
So she's not foreign. She's no stranger to that, right?
They probably were. They probably a little PTSD from that sketch.
Yeah, like let's not put. We can't put Denny. That was a directive from Fred Silverman. Do not put Denny in leather.
Yeah,
anymore.
No Denny in leather ever. FS.
Yeah,
like oh boy.
Yeah, but this is just weird. I think Anne maybe was set up to fail, but just this wasn't the right part for her, and I think it was confusing. Like the premise was confusing to me.
I still blame. I mean, she didn't bring it, but I blame the writing.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah. So that was Ocelots, the final sketch. We end on a musical performance, which I'll go in. So it's Ellen Shipley performing Photogenic, and I had to tell myself, do your very best to give Ellen Shipley a fair chance. Like, ignore what we had just seen from James Brown. meet Ellen Shipley on her terms, Jeremy, right? I really tried to do that.
You're better than me because honestly, at the beginning, and we made a joke last week, like Ellen Shipley's there. After James' second performance, I forgot. Like when I'm like, oh yeah, she was on here. Like I forgot about her.
It was a jump scare for you to have another a different musical performer.
I was waiting for the good nights after Ocelots. I was like, we used to have. Oh yeah, I'm like, that's right. Ellen was on here too because he just blew me away where I forgot all about her. Like so, you're better than me. Like because I should have done that, but I was just like. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right, Ellen Shipley. I didn't think this was bad at all, honestly.
It's good.
Yeah, I thought it had a very early 80s look and sound.
See her picture on the wall, smiling just for you. She's perfection, not a flaw, tested, tried and true. Such a lovely prize you won. See those dreamy
I wouldn't have complained if she was the musical guest. If we had no knowledge of what we were missing with James Brown and your musical guest was Ellen Shipley and she did 2 songs that were kind of like this, I would have been like, she was a pretty decent musical guest.
Yeah,
actually, I kind of enjoyed that. So, in a vacuum, I thought she handled herself pretty well here.
Yeah, in a vacuum, I want to say... Is she third behind James Brown and Aretha for musical performances so far?
Maybe. We had Kid Creole. We had Captain Beefheart.
I think she was better than both of those.
You didn't like the Captain? No, I know that second song I know you weren't digging.
Yeah,
she might have been third actually after Aretha and James Brown. Honestly,
yeah, there is. Which is like, hey, I would hang my hat very proudly on that, like taking, being behind Aretha and James Brown, like that's nothing to be ashamed of at all. So I thought it was good. Like, honestly, it was a good performance here. Good way to, I think JB should have closed out the show, but not a bad second place to close it out, having Ellen Shipley give a good performance here.
Yeah, agreed. Go listen to Ellen Shipley's Photogenic. I think she handled herself well. So, that was it. Then we get the good nights. Jamie reminding everyone about the upcoming vigil for John Lennon. So that's still obviously fresh and in the ether, Jeremy.
Yeah, I don't know about you. And obviously we have history on our side. It almost felt like that. Like it was kind of the way that 9/11 episode, the first one back from SNL, I almost had that vibe a little bit watching it. Knowing, like, obviously it wasn't a tragedy to that level, 9/11, but still, like, the country kind of being in shock, and especially, both things happening in New York after John Lennon getting killed, and that's still kind of, like, lingering over. So I thought it was, it's a good history, like, kind of, like, timestamp, or remember, like, Jamie Lee saying that afterwards, because, that visual that I think Yoko Ono asked for, like, 10 minutes of silence, for in John's memory. So like it's like, this was a historic week in our society for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And with this episode as a whole, I think it was another good one. I think there was a handful of like really bad sketches. There was probably 4 that I can remember that were just like terrible. But then you had like good concepts. You had some certain performers having really good nights. You had one of the all-time great SNL musical performances. So I'm like, I liked the Ellen Burstyn episode, and I'm like mostly positive about. I have like a decent feeling after watching this episode.
I think it's the best one so far.
Oh, you like it better than last week's?
Yeah, I like it better. And I think there was a little bit more misses this week, but the highs were just so great that like, which I'm okay with in any SNL. Where if you give me some great highs, I expect there's going to be some misses. You don't want them, but it's a live show. But like these were like things where last week was solid. This is like, I'm back to that thing of how did people not see the talent in Gail and Denny? Like they should have been on SNL for years if they wanted it to be, is what I'm getting from watching them tonight.
I agree.
Like very, very talented. So this has been my favorite episode. James Brown definitely puts it over the edge, but my favorite episode so far.
Yeah. So you have any like specific reasons for optimism coming out of this episode?
Yes, will say, seeing more of Eddie Murphy. I feel like letting Gail and Denny we kind of seen, but I'll throw her in there. I feel like they're getting comfortable. I feel like they're understanding what they need to do. Like, it's a big adjustment being on SNL, as we all hear, and it takes time to get your footing. And I feel like watching tonight, Gail is finding her footing of what she can do really well in the show.
Yeah.
So that's big optimism for me. Seeing more of Eddie, but seeing Gail really shine and be have a hell of a season so far, in my opinion.
I think this episode might have been the best episode that the cast members had this season. Gail's night might have been the best night that a cast member has had all season.
I agree.
Yeah, she just killed it. She was in good sketches, good spots. She was awesome. And she and Denny have a real chemistry for sure together. I think Eddie's showing more promise earlier than I expected, because I expected to kind of see things, but I thought it was going to be more gradual. So I think this is the fourth episode, and we're already seeing Eddie showing all this promise. So that's I'm optimistic that, hey, maybe we're going to get more Eddie in season 6 than I expected.
Right. I kind of thought you get a little bit of Eddie at the end of the season, and then season 7 is when Eddie shines through. But I'm thinking it's different. I think you get that shine with Eddie way earlier than we expected. That's a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, definitely. And I have a relatively small area of improvement, I guess, coming from this. We've belabored the point about Charles Rocket, so I won't talk about him much longer. But they seem to be still having trouble timing out the show. So some sketches are way too short. I think they could expand on some ideas a little bit and cut the weaker ones. They seem to be overloading and not like Lorne, I think, would be more so this needs to be trimmed, this needs to be cut. I think he would have a more clear vision of how the show should run. I think they're a little bit loose, so they seem maybe caught off guard at the end. That's why we might be getting bad sketches at the end, because they're just so.
Do you think they're just trying to give do you think they're being too diplomatic, or they're just trying to jam everything in?
I think they're just trying to, because we saw with the final sketch here was the Ocelot one. I know there was a musical performance after that, and then they had the speed listening one with Denny. But it seemed like they're just well, I guess we'll keep this one because we still have to air a sketch. So I think they're just not monitoring the clock as well as Lorne. And who's to blame? Because Lorne, that's just a science to him, But I think, and then I no disrespect to Ellen Shipley, I think she was really good, but I don't think they need 3 musical performances from 2 different performers. I think they can kind of clean that up.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I don't know. They're trying to give a variety of stuff. They're making, and it almost makes the show, even though I guess technically SNL was technically a variety show in the 70s, technically kind of.
Yeah.
But
less
it didn't
so
feel.
As
it didn't feel.
Along,
it didn't feel like, even watching the first 5 years, it was different than the other variety shows for the most part. Where this, to me, with the 2 musical, it feels very variety show. Like the Sonny and Cher hour or something. It's you got 1 musical guest.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone.
Right. So that's kind of my little quibble. I mean, it's just maybe the timing of the show kind of sticks out.
Let me ask you. It just kind of hit me now. The 2 musical guests, do you think that's a response to the Captain Beefheart situation?
You think people were thrown off by Captain Beefheart, aside from the guy who yelled shit?
Yeah, it was the guy yelling shit. If they were well, you better, because after that they kind of stepped it up with musical guests. So I kind of just wonder, was this in response to Mr. Captain Beefheart, and they're we can't have that again. Let's get big names and let's get some other people thrown in there.
Maybe
let's step up the music.
Yeah,
so
yeah, possibly. Do you have any sort of improvement tips for these guys?
Yeah, you're right with the Charles Rocket. Don't want to keep going on that, so leave that alone. I think, know who your core is and ride it. Right, stop trying to mix in. I'm not saying you have to ice people out completely, but you kind of, to me, can see Ann is not it. Gilbert's not it, and I don't totally blame Ann with it, but lean on Gail and Denny, Joe, and you can see with Eddie.
And Eddie,
lean on those people.
That's your core 4, probably, right?
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like those 4 should have carried over to the next year. And I'm just curious of why 2 of those 4 did not stay on afterwards. Like I'm just very curious.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Brad and Gary talked to Denny. You can go back recently, so you can go back and listen to their interview with Denny Dillon pretty recently. So I would definitely do that and hear from Denny. And I know our friends over at the Saturday Night Network, John Schneider, they talked to Denny and Gail.
And I watched that
together. Yes. Yeah. So all of our friends in SNL podcasting, including Brad and Gary, recently talking to Denny, try to get to the bottom of that. So I would urge people to go listen to that.
I kind of wish we could get in touch with Dick Ebersol, being like, what were you thinking, man?
Right.
Like, he's the missing
I'll
piece
reach
of
out.
the puzzle,
See if we could get a hold of Dick Ebersol.
He's probably easy to get a hold of,
Yeah.
What's he doing over there in Hawaii?
Yeah. So that's it. Yeah, I think so. We've had 4 episodes so far. And I think one of them, the Elliot Gould one, in my opinion, was okay. Then we had maybe the worst episode of all time in episode 2. But I think 3 and 4 were like good episodes of SNL. So is it that the Malcolm McDowell episode is just totally weighing down the whole season? Because I think this is like maybe a little better than I expected.
You mean like back in 1980 perspective?
Yeah, or just even maybe like looking back, like.
Yeah, I think McDowell, and I think just people don't like change. And I mean, I know you go on a Saturday Night Network when there's cast members being let go and stuff. Even though the show's been on for 50 years, people still are like, oh, they're leaving, or you got rid of this person. Back then, especially, I think it was the Malcolm McDowell, it stunk. And that gave those who wanted to be haters and not open-minded a lot of fuel. Like, I think it really did. And people just were hooked on those first 5 years.
Yeah.
And you just can't it's hard to, like, get from that shadow, in my opinion.
And I'm curious, but, like, for you in hindsight, is this so far, like, a better season than you thought?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Those who I kind of had seen and didn't really dig and didn't think they were good on there are proving true. Those who I was kind of interested in, and I'm like, from what I see talent, have done better than I thought. I have watched different highlights and clips of Gail and Denny, and I'm like, oh, I see some talent, but they're better than I thought they were, honestly. So I'm really liking it.
Yeah, going into the season, I figured that I would like Denny. Because I would just kind of like knowing some of the stuff that she's done. Like seems like the type of performer that I would like. Gail's been my biggest surprise though. I didn't know what totally to make of Gail going in. I thought that she would just be like, she didn't show much and there's a reason why they didn't keep her. But she's been my surprise of the season.
Absolutely. So, Absolutely. And I stick by I love the Jan Hooks, Nora Dunn combo we got years later, but I'm like, we could have gotten that earlier in the 80s with these 2 ladies, honestly.
For sure. So, good episode. I'm interested to see if the momentum will carry. So, next week, we have episode 5. Your host, David Carradine. Were you a big Kung Fu fan, Jeremy?
I was actually. And even the later Kung Fu, The Next Generation, I believe it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that one live. But definitely watched old Kung Fu reruns growing up. David Carradine, big fan. Big fan of him. Kill Bill. Yeah,
Kill Bill, exactly. I didn't watch a ton of Kung Fu. I knew of David Carradine from that, but like Kill Bill is my association with David Carradine, an older, 23 years after this hosting stint, David Carradine.
Yeah, he's Kung Fu for me because I did like Kung Fu a lot. I don't think I probably would as much now. A little cultural appropriation.
Sure.
But I did as a kid. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see how he does on here. And Jamie Lee Curtis, one of my favorite hosts, period, so far. I really enjoyed what she did tonight. So that was a big positive as well.
Yeah, the musical guest, kind of interesting. Interesting choice. It's the cast of the Pirates of Penzance. You a big Gilbert and Sullivan guy? I
respect them. I do know a lot about it because this is like a historic and unique musical guest in SNL. So I know some, but I'm interested to rewatch it again and really see. This is risky here.
It is because it's the cast of an opera, a Gilbert and Sullivan opera. So not your standard musical guest.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious on how it works I've watched the performance alone, but I'm curious to see how it works in the flow of the show.
Okay. My only knowledge of Gilbert and Sullivan really is the movie Topsy Turvy. I remember seeing that when I first started in radio. We did a promotion. I worked for a classical station that was one of the stations in the cluster, and we did a screening when Topsy Turvy came out. And I know that I talked to this guy, and he's like, I'm the biggest Gilbert and Sullivan fan in Albuquerque. And I was like, that's cool, man. And I remember kind of thinking the movie was boring, but I respect, they're obviously important.
Legends. Yeah.
So, So next week, episode 5 with your host, David Carradine, musical guest, the cast of The Pirates of Penzance. Looking forward to it, buddy.
Me too, man. Can't wait. Let's keep this momentum going.
Thanks for listening to the Not Ready for Primetime Project. Be sure to subscribe and follow wherever you listen to our podcast. You can also follow us on social media everywhere at NR4PT Project. Thanks for listening. Good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.